So, you spent quite a bit of time optimizing a website's performance. It loads fast, appears to load even faster, and doesn't make users' data plans cry. Your changes deploy in the next sprint, and you move on to your next task. All's right with the world. Wrong. Before you manage to tweet your #WebPerf success story, another developer, who doesn't know any better, comes along and unintentionally tanks performance with an unrelated piece of work, and it isn't until you work on the same website a few months later that you notice. Not great, is it? This is why web performance optimization needs to be a continual process which everybody invested in the success of the website should be at least aware of. Once optimizations have been put into place, it's important to prevent future regression. This can be done through establishing what's called a performance budget. A performance budget is the idea that for each metric there's a threshold which it cannot fall below. So if our budget says that the first paint metric cannot go above 2 seconds, but testing reveals that the next release would result in that, then developers are made aware and have the opportunity to fix it. The concept of a performance budget, which developers adhere to and stakeholders are at least aware of, forces performance to be a factor in conversations and projects where previously it may not have been a priority. The only question is, what should the performance budget be? There's many different views on the subject. My favourite comes from Harry Roberts of CSS Wizardry. He advocates that most businesses aren't ready for challenges, but rather need safeguards. So instead of selecting arbitrary numbers or a best case scenario for performance budgets, businesses first need to have something more grounded and achievable. Whilst performance goals are vital and should be worked towards, they should be kept separate from performance budgets, which are more about preventing regression. Therefore, the performance budget metrics should be whatever the live website's performance metrics are right now. And what I mean by this is, metrics should never get worse, only better. By setting your performance budget for each metric to be the worst it's been over the last 2-week period, you're creating a safety net to keep the website from regressing further. If your first paint metric is 4 seconds, it mustn't get slower. If your number of third-party requests per page is 50, then don't add any more without reviewing the existing ones. And then every 2 weeks, revisit your field data. If metrics have improved, and the new worst first paint is now 3.5 seconds, then 3.5 seconds is now your new first paint performance budget. What happens if the metrics have gotten worse? Then the performance budget stays the same and you put in the work to get it back on track. Following this method, you'll find yourself making slow, incremental improvements to the performance of your website, whilst making sure that you, or any other developer for that matter, don't make things worse.